only game show that's 3 dimensions away from Assassin's Creed Mirage being an expansion of Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we're looking at Assassin's Creed Mirage, released in 2023. Assassin's Creed Mirage is the next Ubisoft Assassin's Creed game in the franchise, and this time around is set in Baghdad. And this game is a much smaller game compared to Valhalla or the Great Odyssey. This time around is basically set in Baghdad, and you basically goes back to the original roots of the Assassin's Creed games, where you're an assassin and you're part of this group, and you have to basically go around and assassinate people and it's such a unique, goes back to the roots and heart of the original game, what made Assassin's Creed popular. And while I will say I do appreciate where the Assassin's Creed went in the past, in these last couple of games, I do appreciate it going back to where it started and where it comes from. I do like this game a lot. I do think this game is not as good as Odyssey, because Odyssey is still a 10 out of 10 game for me, and I really like Valhalla. I will say I really enjoyed this game. I played this game and I spent hours and hours playing this game, and I was just watching it going, this is a fun game and all, and the graphics are fantastic and everything, and I do like this. But the game feels almost like an expansion of Assassin's Creed Origins. Even though this takes place in Baghdad, the other took place in Egypt. It just feels like I'm playing like an expansion of this game. Like I'm playing this game, and obviously it's much smaller. But and I do like how detailed the world is. Like I go around in the desert, and all of a sudden you see this little camp over here, and I do like that. And also, the game does try to challenge you some. So basically, like you're an assassin, and you start out as a thief, and then of course you end up getting caught, and then you have to flee town once your people die, and then of course you come back as an assassin and basically start assassinating the bad guys and everything. And then of course once your bounty comes up, you get a certain bounty point. You can't go any town unless you start tearing down your wanted posters, or you pay off your debt. That's when people will come after you and they'll say, hey, that's this guy. And then you can't even hide in this game. There are some issues I have with this game particularly. I love the game. I think the graphics are perfect. I love the graphics. I love the score of the game and everything. And I love how it brings you back to the feel of the Assassin's Creed games. But I feel like the wanted system, I hate that every time I'm up there, if a guard sees me, he's like, hey, and then I have to go hide. And when I hide, they can still find me. And I'm like, what? I've hidden things, and I'm like, hey. And they're just there tapping it, digging through there. And I'm like, hey, he's right here. And I was like, oh, come on. I had to flee town, just to get out of there. And also, there's sometimes, the game where I'm playing it, and the game just sometimes gets buggy. The graphics frame rate will drop and stuff like that. Or if, I was in a fight cutscene, then all of a sudden it turns into a fight, and then all of a sudden the game dropped on me one time. But I know they got a new patch out, so that should fix it, because I haven't had that problem since the new patch. I will say that I do like that the voice cast of this game is really well done. I like that there's a female assassin leading the new guy assassin. I thought that was pretty cool, and it kind of reminded me of the movie in a way, how the movie kind of did that with Michael Fassbender. I also like that how Baghdad does have its own feel to it. It kind of reminds me of the first game was more like the Mummy film, Origins, and then this one's more like the Scorpion King film, in a way, and that's not a bad thing. And I always feel like they're just dressed in red and everything. It just kind of reminds me of that, and you're part of there's a secret cult in this game and everything, and the game has a lot of hidden mystery and a lot of side missions and cool stuff like that. So you're not gonna beat this game. I have not completed this game 100%. I beat the main story, but there's still so much stuff in this game where I can play, and I really enjoy it. And I enjoyed the main story. I thought the main story was well done. I'm not gonna spoil it for you because there's a lot of people that have not played this game yet. I do enjoy this game as an Assassin's Creed game. I still think Valhalla and Odyssey had better storylines. I even like the Assassin's Creed 2 story. I think Assassin's Creed 2 is still one of my favorite storylines. But I do really like this game as well. The game does have a good frame rate perception, it's 60 frames per second. The game, has great combat and everything. I will say that, I do like that you can get on a horse in the game. And then all of a sudden, when you're getting on a horse, all of a sudden, you can just flee, that horse is fast. I'm playing that horse, and all of a sudden, I'm just boom, boom, boom on a horse. You also get a camel, and the camel's kind of fun. The camel's really fun and everything. I like to ride on the camel, but I'm the horse is awesome. And like I like how you could sneak up and everything and just start assassinating people. And like you can't just, it isn't like the old games where you just go up there and stab them and then they're dead. No, they got people now where you stab them and then they give you a fight. You know, and there's like the boss fights are insane. I'm playing on the very easy because I'm a bitch about playing games. And oh my god, this boss fight gave me a pain in the ass where it took me like 5 tries just to get it. You know, and also you can't just send your eagle because of how I used to raid camps and stuff. Is I would literally go up there. And then when I would go up there, I would literally go up there, and I would literally just all of a sudden, like, you know, I'd go up there, send my eagle to scout all the locations. And then all of a sudden, what happened is, I'm sorry, I just heard gunshots. So I was just wondering. But anyway, so yeah, I would heard all of a sudden, send my eagle to scout these locations and everything, and then all of a sudden, boom, ping, 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 boom, boom, boom. You know, which I don't live in a bad neighborhood. I just want to point out for anybody's wondering why did I say gunshots. I don't live in a bad neighborhood or nothing like that. I live in like the country area, and I heard gunshots at night. Is like, that's weird for me. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I used to send the bird. I would send the bird around and everything to scout the locations, like Odyssey and Valhalla. The bird would scout around, ping all the people, so that would make it easy for I can climb up there and assassinate them all secretly. So then I'd be like, yeah, I won. You know, but this one is much harder because now they have arrows and stuff, and then like you'll ping, you can't go up there because like boom, your bird can't because they have arrows shooting at it, and I'm like, fuck, you know, because you might get one person ping, so then you have to go around and do it yourself, and then there's sometimes I'm sneaking past the guy, and all of a sudden he's right there looking at me, and then he's like, hey, and I'm like, oh shit, and then. Yeah, you have to hide around, play like going around in a circle, hiding like Scooby-Doo in them, and so that was just really hard for me in this game, you know. And I do like, you know, going through the cities and everything, and you could steal from people too, like just like in the older games, you could just go around pickpocketing people, but it does give you like a little thing where you can miss your opportunity and they're like thief, thief, and then people you get to flee. You know, stuff like that, or they'll go tell guards, and you can kill the guards. And the more people you kill, the more your current thing goes up to where you can either pay your bounty off or you can rip the posters down. I just go around paying my bounty off because it's really hard to find the freaking posters. But I do enjoy this game a lot. I mean, it does feel more like an expansion because it doesn't feel like a bigger game. Like when I bought this game, I didn't buy it like because I love the Assassin's Creed games. I love the open world, just running around, just being an assassin. I just feel like this game is not as big as I wanted it to be, like ambitious. It feels more like a DLC or an expansion of the Origins rather than its own thing, and that's what kind of irks me because it's like I was waiting for this game, and look, they don't have to come out every year, and I'm glad they're not really. Like I'm glad they come out every other year, you know, because I would just hate for them to like just rush something out. Although I really kind of wish they would have delayed this for like 3 years so that way they can build a bigger game, so that way. Whenever they had the game, at least it would feel better, bigger, and more ambitious that way. Like, because this game feels like, you know, it's already priced at $40. I feel like if this game was a bigger map instead of like a more condensed map, I feel like this game could have been still like around $60. But instead, it's like it's at $40 now because it's like it's a smaller game, and which is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there's games that are much smaller that are good, like Miles Morales. But then this game just feels like it's just a smaller game that's not like ambitious enough. It's like it feels like they just made an expansion and said, "All right, let's make it detailed, and then let's try to make it this and this, and then we're gonna make sure all the bugs are cleaned, and we're gonna put it out for release." And it just feels like I wanted more out of it. But I did enjoy the game for what it was. I do like the assassin aspect. I love just diving down like this with, you know, and I do like that they try to challenge you some with the bird and everything now because they know our strategy now where the bird, you can't send the bird anymore. So I like that they tried to challenge me more. And I like that, but I just kind of wish there was more to do besides what it was. I did like the game though. If I had to give this game a score, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much.
Is it just